went from single crops to combination crops then. We grew oats, I grew wheat, I grew beans on their own even at one stage, and peas. And now we just grow a mixture of all those crops kind of combined. So we have a combi crop mix there this year of a bean barley. We have the trials down in the field there with a bean and a pea mix, which gets the 100% protein mix payment.
The market for food is very broad and there is scope for both conventional and organically produced food. The improved market and support payments for organic production has been enough to convince quite a number of farmers to convert to organic. For most conventional tillage farmers, farming organically looks very difficult, but there are a number of people who are doing it very successfully. You are listening to the latest episode of the Tillage Edge with me, Michael Hennessy. We would really appreciate it if you could listen, follow and give us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast from. Farming organically in a grass-based system seems to have a clear path around the management of grass and livestock, but organic farming in a tillage-based system is more difficult. In this episode, I chat to Gavin Tully, an organic farmer in Wexford, after an event we held in his farm in late May this year. I first asked Gavin a little bit about his farming system.
Yeah, well, we've 100 acres here in Camolan and we're all tillage with a mixture of different crops, mostly combi crops and some potatoes.
Okay, so obviously you're in organic farming at the moment. You've swapped over, I suppose, over the last number of years. You were all tillage before that, I presume, were you? And
yeah,
what was your decision in terms of moving from one to the other? Why did you move?
I thought about it for a while, and I was just those few years, 2014 and 15, there was a couple of very bad prices. Those years, exceptionally bad prices. And I was just looking for an alternative, something that would make a bit of sense. And it was one day I was actually spraying over this top headland here in this field, and the water well is there, and I was just going by the well and I was there thinking, you know, we had a young family at the time too. You're a bit more conscious of things like that when you have young children in the house, and I just thought, you know, we'll just try this and see what happens. So we tried a small bit first and liked it, and then the next year then we threw the rest of the farm into it.
Okay, and what was the first crop you had in?
Peas.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went for the protein.
They obviously worked out reasonably well, did they?
They did work out very well, yeah. We went for the protein payment and the single farm payment, the organic payment, and they all added up, and the crop, it was the first time ever that the crop was in profit before the combine went into the field.
Okay.
You know, so that encouraged me then to go on and put the rest of the farm in.
Okay, so in terms of then, so it was a good start, starting point, but obviously then you're putting the rest of the farm in.
Yeah.
That transition, how did you find that transition? Because I mean, it's a big jump going from a nice even crop with no weeds in it to maybe something that's going to look very different.
Yeah, it can be. The first couple of years are probably easy enough because you have residual fertilizers in the soil, and even the weeds don't seem to be as enthusiastic as they are when you go on further up along the line. The first couple of years looking at the weeds, I even remember the first year I went into it, or the second year more so, when the rest of the farm went in. If you're walking around the fields, no tram lines, tractors and trailers, or tractors and sprayers and fertilizer spreaders flying up and down the road, and you have a track beaten in the field walking around.
Right.
That was it was difficult because you think you should be at something.
Okay.
But realistically, we didn't need to be at all.
Stand back and leave it at itself.
Yeah, but you get used to it after a while.
And so you started off with a range of crops. Are you still growing similar crops, or was there a transition from one type of a crop to another type of crop over the last 6 or 7 years?
Yeah, we went from single crops to combination crops then. We grew oats, I grew wheat, I grew beans on their own even at one stage, and peas. And now we just grow a mixture of all those crops kind of combined. So we have a combi crop mix there this year of a bean barley. We have the trials down in the field there with a bean and a pea mix, which gets the 100% protein mix payment.
And people, you know, I suppose conventional tillage farmers would always be looking into organics and be kind of saying, yeah, it's all well and fine, but
yeah.
I mean, you're not going to run down your fertility over time and you'll be ended up with nothing kind of at the end of the day.
No,
how have you found that journey?
Fertility is not the issue, because Well, first of all, we're not taking off the extreme amounts that most other farmers are. We also chop the straw, so we're not losing out on that.
Okay.
We're adding the organic matter back into the soil, and the decay levels are maintained fairly high. Lime pHs are very good, and some of them are actually a little bit high. We spread a lot of lime here in 2015, 2016 to get the farm up to date on the pH levels, but it seems to have maintained its the level that's at is very low to drop.
So you're maintaining some of your P and K levels by importing a bit of organic manures as well?
Yeah, we bring in as much cow slurry and cattle slurry and dungs and dairy sludges, and you name it, we've tried them all.
Okay. And that's a constant kind of thing on your mind to kind of make sure that they're coming onto your farm.
If it goes out the gate, it has to come in the gate. That's the way.
Well, I think that's reasonable. So you mentioned on the farm walk you have soil sampled most years.
Yes.
And your levels of P's and K's and lime, they're all pretty good as kind of nearly when you started.
They're actually better than I started. We're at 3s and 4s there now, whereas when I would have started, we were probably 2s and 3s. Now, one field in particular down by the river there is low levels, maybe 2s at best, 1s and 2s in P's and K's. But it's an exceptionally hard field to apply dungs or slurries to, because, well, number one, you have the river ban on one side. You've also a drain at the other side. Okay. There's a very small piece of ground in the middle that you're actually allowed to spread on. Then, as well as that, then, because it's so low lying, it's wet probably 9 months of the year.
Sure.
So it doesn't lend itself easily to spreading slurries. I have got stuff put on it with the umbilical cord system here a few times, but it's just hard to get
Not easy.
It's very hard to get the indexes up.
Okay.
We have the lime right in it, but the P's and K's now, they do need a bit of work.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier a second ago about combi crops. Describe to me what a combi crop is, or what your view of a combi crop is.
Well, the combo crop, or combi crop as they're known, is a combination of 2 or more, so 2 or 3 different grains or pulses grown together. So a typical one here now, I would have started out with would have been, most people are using peas. So you have a pea barley oat, you have a pea barley, or a pea oat, or a pea wheat. But the pea barley oat, the three-way mix, probably is the most reliable and the easiest to grow, because the oat supplies a great scaffolding for the peas to grow up.
Okay.
And it eases the harvesting. And then you have a nice bit of straw, so if you had livestock farmers out there looking for a good alternative to buying a ration, they could grow their own and have a nice bit of straw as well.
Okay. And you combine that all at one, they all kind of comes in together, you combine it?
Combine it all
so
together,
you have this mix of pea, barley and oats. What's the process from there? What do you do with that then? Are you storing it? Are you selling it direct? Or?
No, we store everything here and treat it. We treat it if it needs to be treated with popcorn or aeration. Sometimes if it's fairly reasonable moisture, 18-19% moisture, we just put it on air. Anything above 20, definitely you'll get popcorn. And then it'll be rolled as it's needed.
Okay, so you roll and bag and sell, or roll and put in the trailer and sell, or what's your method?
Whatever way you want it. If you want it in a bag, there's a half-ton bag, there's a 3/4-ton bag, there's a ton bag. There's bulk collections here. We don't do any delivering. We do deliver bags by courier, but the bulk men usually just come and get it themselves.
And is it all livestock feed, or is there any other markets, any food going out at all?
All livestock. All livestock feed. I don't have any sales for like flour and things like that. You mean there's we did dabble a bit here last year in growing a wheat for a flour mill there, but I'd rather just stick with the combo crops now.
And how far away are the combo crops going to livestock farmers?
A lot of them this year are fairly local. Wicklow and Wexford,
right.
And you Carlow there. There's a lot of new entrants up Wicklow, especially now if you go up towards Dublin. There's a lot of new entrants there. Sheep farmers up around.
So it's Leinster really is where you're sticking around.
Yeah, but like up till this year, a lot of our stuff would have went west of the Shannon.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of it would have.
And how are you marketing that though? How are people finding out?
Word of mouth, I think, right. Because, well, I advertised in Dundee and then I had it on the IOA website there as well. And then I see in Roscommon, kind of Carrigan-Shannon, I think it is a lot of them live. There was one man rang out of the blue and he got a bag. And then his neighbour. And like, turned out there was seven or eight lads within one community like that were all buying it. Because over there, organic farmers, they're a lot thicker on the ground than they are here.
Sure.
There seem to be clusters.
Okay.
You know, and...
That worked out well for you anyway. And
they were buying, and then there was 3 lads used to come here, send over an Arctic, and they'd get a full an Arctic load, a curtain cider of big bags, and they'd divide it up themselves between themselves then.
So is it all of your own? Like, have you more than enough to sell of what you produce on the farm? Or are you buying in a bit more? Do you see that part of it expanding and growing a bit further?
Yeah, we're buying in a bit. Last year now we started buying in stuff. Because of my history with the grain milling business here, I just decided that maybe we'd take advantage of it and use it towards the organic market as well.
Okay.
So we've built on a bit, and this shed here now will be for organic produce, and the other one will be kept maybe for potatoes and machinery, but that's the plan anyway.
Okay, and the listeners might be able to hear some big crack of thunder overhead. We're just on the very edge of a massive great shower here, so we'll keep on. One final question for you, Gavin. I see you have a bit of potato equipment around here. You're growing some potatoes as well for the local market?
No, Galway.
Oh.
They go to the one man and Beach Lawn Organic, Una and Pádraig Fahey. They've been buying potatoes off me here since, not sure, it must be 2017.
Okay.
And I started off growing 3 acres and I'm kind of still at the same level. It never got any bigger or smaller. We might be a bit back this year because the price of seed this year was horrendous. So we've only 2 acres or 2.5 acres at a push.
Okay.
This year.
So one market, and that does the trick for you anyway. That's something to be dabbling in over the winter.
Well, the trouble this winter is my youngest lad is going to boarding school, and he was a great labour unit, as we call him. He'd love to be here, we call him that. He was a great help, but when he'll be gone to school now, it'll be
more difficult.
Will be more difficult, yeah.
Okay.
Because he was easily encouraged to come out. He loves coming out.
So you might have to rethink that plan.
We might have to rethink that. We managed 2 acres anyway.
Right. Okay. Listen, Gavin, thanks very much for your time. Delighted to talk to you, and it was a brilliant day here down in it, and we avoided the big showers pretty well, I think.
Yeah. I think we have got away with it now at this stage.
So that's it for this week. If you enjoyed the podcast, then recommend it to a friend or colleague. And as always, rate, review and follow on Apple or Spotify so you never miss an episode. And for more information, go to teagasc.ie. I'm Michael Hennessy. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back next week with more tillage news and advice.